the one that says, include the land use designation of parks and recreation for the property commonly known as city farm property. That is the one that the planning commission approved, and that is the one I'm moving to be accepted.
Yes.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion?
Yes, I do want to discuss part of most of the citizens, Adrian. We have talked, so many of you. I have been perfectly honest in my opinion of what I thought about the city farm property, not just as what happened during the time that our former city manager was here and another plan with 200 homes, not because of that, but because when I was campaigning, I am concerned that with that almost 60 acres, it would be inclusive of some things for public use as well as a restaurant, and possibly, was my opinion, and we can respectfully disagree, possibly some homes, not 200, but some homes. But for this tonight, I am, just from studying, of course listening to you all, talking to so many of the planning commission and some of the other business people in the community. Just one of the reasons I am supporting Dr. Woodbury is because it was, I feel, on my part, when a developer came and brought us a plan, that I thought that was really totally something that made you all as citizens feel like we weren't being fair. And I don't want to be a part of anything. That's why I disclosed way before that even happened how I felt, and I was perfectly honest. But I would not want to be a part of anything like that, or to make you feel like I have something to hide about any of my decisions on the city council. So I just wanted to be able to share that with you. You all know that I have always had an open door policy, even if I have not agreed with what you wanted. I've been honest in what I've said, and I'm going to continue to stand that way. So I just wanted to make that public, and I do feel like understudy is not a land use, and with all due respect to our city manager, I do feel like understudy is not a land use, and that's why I will not be supporting what's in what we have. So I did want to at least explain that to you all tonight.
I have a few comments I'd like to make. You know, no matter what this council or whatever council eventually votes on the use of the farmland or the former prison system, we've got to study. We've got to decide if it's going to be a park, what kind of park, the impact on the community, traffic patterns, environmental study. All of this has to be studied, even if it's going to be a park. So removing that, to me, doesn't make sense. Secondly, I think I heard you all without comment. I would appreciate the same courtesy. Secondly, there are several of you who have come up and talked about destroying the track, we're not destroying the park. We're not talking about that park. And that's why some of your signatures don't mean anything, because you have been falsely destroying the track, removing the track. That's not the land that we're talking about.
It's like two people did this.
Some children.
Everybody
And
else.
just like you said,
We're not
that might
getting
be the
children's
tip of the iceberg here as well.
We're not getting children's signatures.
Some of the ideas that we have got, and some of you said that nobody else is talking about, some of us have received additional plans for purposes for the park. They're just probably too afraid to come up and talk about it. This person has no skin in the game. It's a plan that we plan to share with council to look at. The other thing is that when, by law, if we have an unsolicited proposal, we have to listen to it. I mean, you act like we're trying to hide something. That plan was presented, not one council member discussed it after it was presented. We've had no discussions about houses or anything on that property. And you ask, well, what about the process? We haven't developed a process yet because it's not on our radar to do anything at this point. So the process has not been presented to you because we haven't developed one.
1991.
So there have been suggestions like what was told about the sand in place, federal sand. We need to discuss that. It sounds good, but my understanding is if federal sand is placed on that, it becomes federal property. That may or may not be true, but we need to discuss that and find out if that is a fact or not.
National Park.
So, you know, removing the study, even if it is kept there tonight, this council or any future councils do anything it wishes with the property. So my hope, as I have tried to state throughout this whole process, and when I say process here, of your coming every meeting to talk about it, is that when we are ready to discuss it, we will have citizen input. And as far as I'm concerned, all citizens, all plans, all possibilities of that property, I would like to hear not only from our local residents, but from the experts. Because if it is going to be a park, I want it to be the best park on the East Coast. And we may not know the other possibility. I'm not a park expert, but I want to hear from some park experts. So that's all I'm saying is that, you know, we're getting in a tizzy about something, to me, at this point, has no meaning or irrelevance or importance. So that's my comments.
Why is it in there?
Are there any
Nobody's
other
clapping.
comments?
I'd like to make a few comments. As most of you know, I'm in favor of Riverview Farm Park remaining a park for the people.
Absolutely.
But let me also explain that it's not just important for us to do good on the city council, it's important for us to show the public that we are doing good and have full transparency. It's my opinion, for what it's worth, that 10 years ago when understudy was put on this piece of property, it was done inaccurately because there has been no study of this piece of property. There is not currently ongoing a study of this piece of property for the future use of that land. It makes no sense whatsoever for us to keep that designation on this piece of property. If at some point in the future, whether that is a month from now, 2 months from now, or 3 months from now, or next year, we can have a consensus of people on the city council that decide to move forward, and I hope it is sooner rather than later, and define what a study would be, whether it is, as I believe it should be, to consider exclusively the land at Riverview Farm Park as a park, and to move forward on that proposal, so be it. If it is to include the comments of all the citizens, I'm willing to express my opinions during that forum, and I know you all are as well. It's not going to change how we feel. It is very important that we speak out, that we stand up, that we say what is in our heart. The mayor is absolutely right. Even if we remove the understudy designation right now, or even if we approve it as a park, future city councils are not bound by our decisions. That is why it is important for each of us to continue to stand up for what is important for the future of Newport News. My family is from Newport News from a long time ago. My great-grandfather came to the city in the 1880s. My grandmother, who I lived with when I was a child, was born in Newport News in 1895. And I can tell you I am extremely grateful for the planning and the forethought that our founding fathers had that has been demonstrated throughout our history as a city of planning for our future. And I look forward to preserving that heritage of ensuring that Newport News is a great city. That's what I believe. I will let others speak about what they believe, and I would like to encourage you to listen respectfully to them, because I know good people can sometimes disagree.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have to tell the people in this room where my heart is and what I stand for. So I'm not going to do that, but I am going to read to you a letter from a former city councilman that served on this board that was in today's paper. Not everybody gets the paper, so that's why I'm going to use my discussion time to read it to you. It says, "Listen to the people. This week, Newport News City Council will hold a public hearing on the future land use of the former city farmland bordering Deep Creek and the James River. In the 1990s, the City Council adopted the framework for the future. This document, which recommended more water access to citizens, was drafted from years of work by hundreds of citizens from the entire city. Land use decisions directly affect the well-being of all residents. The Centers for Disease Control recommends that cities consider the physical, mental, and social health of citizens by putting people first. That includes public access to the water. A healthy community is continuously improving its physical and social environments and expanding its resources. It encourages citizens to support one another and ensures safe places for exercise and play. A park with water access encompasses all of these things. Newport News Planning Commission has recommended that the city farmland adjacent to Riverview Farm Park remain zoned as park. Council should respect the will of the people and vote to preserve the park zone. Dr. Vincent Joseph, former City Council.
Any other comments before we vote?
Yes. I'd like to just share my comments with you tonight, and I'm going to read them because I believe it's important that you hear my heart, not only my heart, but what has been in my prayers. I'd like to thank all of the citizens for coming and being vocal regarding the city farm here at City Council, through all of your emails and those that I could return to say thank you for your comments. I did that. And at the many public hearings of the Planning Commission. Before I state my decision, I just want to share these remarks. As I have read each email and through the minutes of the Planning Commission that we received, I have given much thought and prayer regarding my decision for the vote for the comprehensive plan, because that's what it's about tonight, a comprehensive plan. While the city farm designation as understudy has raised much concern, I have considered that outside of the Newport News Park, our school acreage and the private manors museum, our current city and population are deficit of parkland when it comes to acreage and size of population of 10 acres per 1,000 residents. As a former planning commission, as I read through the minutes, I pondered what does the designation of understudy mean under land use. Would changing the designation from understudy to parks, as it appeared originally in the comp plan, inhibit or interrupt the archaeological study that we're doing right now? Is a designation of park a more symbolic word for this location? Would taking away the term understudy take away the anxiety and concern that has come about because of an action that was not done by City Council? Understanding the concerns and being made more aware of how this property became understudy, I can agree and change the designation to park, because I believe that citizens should have public access to the river. I believe that with the formation of a citizen task force, the former city farm portion of Riverview Farm Park, we can have a study to begin to make this a desirable place for residents and visitors to enjoy the waterfront. I believe in the process of city government, and that if the vote is for park or remains under study, specific plans for whatever it will be designated must include the voice of all citizens. But if the park designation occurs, there still must be a process, which may include including the infrastructure and safety, so that when people come and use the land, the resources are there with long-term plans. I believe that the city council will handle the process in a fair and reasonable fashion with your input. No matter what decision is made, civility will be required. I must listen to you, and you must listen to me, even if you agree to disagree. We can have civility, and we must have civility. Lastly, because you have come, because you have expressed yourself, because we have heard you, I just want you to know, I stand on what I said all the time. Your voice does matter. Thank you.
Just a couple of comments, Mr. Mayor. I just appreciate you all coming down to voice your opinion on this land use. You all know I started the town hall meeting 17 years ago because I wanted to know what the citizens think here, and you know, it's important that we all discuss what's going on in our city. During the last campaign, I know some of you, as you mentioned, stood on the one issue thing, and I understand your point there. But I'm not a flip-flopper, and when I talked about this land during my campaign, I thought that it was appropriate that we continue to see what highest and best use of that land is, and I'm not going to change my position. I don't see the word understudy, I don't see it being prohibited. I think that at some point, it's still going to go back, even if it's designated tonight parkland, at some point, it's still going to have to be studied. So I don't have a real problem with it. I think it's just semantics. But what I do appreciate is that you all took the time to come down to tell us how you feel about the word understudy. And so I will be supporting the city manager's position, because when she made that decision, she made it on fact. She didn't just make it out of feelings. She didn't, you know, just pull it out of the air. There was some reason that she recommended to us that it remains a study. So that is my position.
If there is no further discussion, I want to make sure that we understand the motion. The motion is to, as I understand it, to remove understudy from the actual plan.
Correct.
So
Replace
voting,
Parks and Rec.
Replace it with parks.
replace it with Parks and Rec. So my understanding is voting yes for that will remove the understudy from this plan.
Correct.
Is that correct? Everyone have that understanding?
Yes.
Call vote.
Councilman Harris,
For.
Councilman Jenkins,
For.
Mayor Price,
Against?
Councilwoman Scott,
Against.
Vice Mayor Vick,
4.
Councilwoman Woodbury,
4.
Councilwoman Sherry, 4.
I just,
Thank you. Continuing with the agenda, item F contains the following items.